beauty babes, welcome to my channel. I'm Maria, aka agapelovegirl. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, today's video is like a long overdue review on the not so new anymore, but the IT Cosmetics Confidence in a Compact Cream Foundation. And I gave a quick kind of like overview of it when I first got it because I was using it and I used it in a couple different, maybe one or two videos. And at the time I used it, my first impressions were that I liked it. But now as I've used it a lot more and had a longer time to test it, my full review is quite a bit different. Now, before I get started, let me just let you guys know that I did receive these as PR. In fact, I actually received a beautiful PR package from IT Cosmetics that looks like this box filled with all the shades of the foundation. So they came like this to me, so I had all of them. There's still a few shades in there, and I did also receive the Heavenly Luxe brush that is recommended to use with it. So I did receive these for free to review, and I've been meaning to do this full review for the longest time, but just kept forgetting to get to it. But because, like I said, this is not so new anymore, and chances are you've seen a lot and plenty of reviews on it already, so I just want to kind of keep it quick and just touch on a few of my thoughts about it. I do have some notes here on my phone that I'm going to be sharing, but I hope you guys find this helpful for those who have not purchased or have been debating on purchasing this product yet, and hopefully you find my review and my thoughts helpful. Now, I do just want to say one more thing before I get into my my review here, is that I absolutely love IT Cosmetics. Most of you guys know I love pretty much all of their products. There's not many products of theirs that I have found or used, tried, that I did not like. So this isn't anything against IT Cosmetics. I love their products. This just happens to be one that I don't like so much. But I am so thankful to IT Cosmetics for sending me these to try. Now, let's go ahead and go into a little bit about it for those who might not know. Now, this is the first ever solid serum foundation with SPF 50 physical sunscreen. It's supposed to deliver anti-aging skincare benefits, as most all IT Cosmetics products do, which is one thing I love about their products. It's a solid to serum formula for weightless, mess-free full coverage, and clinically shown to give you better looking skin. And those are all really great things about it. The anti-aging thing, the SPF, those are great things. But I would like to address the fact that it says it is full coverage. For me personally, I didn't find it to be full coverage. In fact, I found it to be more of a light to medium coverage, with the possibility to build it up to full coverage. And it kind of really depends on how you apply it. So before I go into how you apply, because I do have some demos that I'm going to be sharing with you, let me show it to you. This is the compact. I actually like the compact. I think it's nice. Some people might think it's bulky, but I think it's nice. It does have a mirror inside of it. It does include a little sponge, which, as you can see, I have used and tried. And then it has this little thing, this little cover for the product. Now, if you use the sponge, I personally don't prefer it with the sponge. I feel like with the sponge you get the least coverage. I feel like when I put it on with a sponge, it literally feels like I'm just putting on a serum with a little tint of color. There really is no coverage. It goes on and just, there's really no coverage. It's very light coverage. Now, unless you can kind of like, I'm going to kind of go all over the place, but hopefully it makes sense. When you first get into the product, you have to really swirl in there because it takes a bit to be able to actually get the product in. Otherwise, it almost just is like a waxy product, which is why I feel like there's no coverage, because it still feels like that on the skin. But you kind of break the surface a little bit, warm it up a little bit, maybe even with your hand first, warm it up, and then apply it. It almost still does feel like that waxy, but not waxy. I don't know how else to explain it, but just, and then there's no coverage, but with the sponge. But if you kind of like get a decent amount of product, then kind of pat it on your skin and press it in, it's kind of one of those things you have to pat and dab with to be able to get coverage. Because if you just take the sponge and kind of like try to blend like this, it's not going to work. You're not going to get full coverage. Now, they do recommend, even though it does come with a sponge, they do recommend their Heavenly Luxe brush. This is their brush Skin Smoothing Complexion number 704. This brush is super expensive. It is $48, and many of you guys have heard me say many times before that IT Cosmetics are one of the only brand brushes that I think is worth the price and really amazing, because their brushes are beautiful and amazing, but this is one that I'm just like, I don't even really like using this brush with this product. So I don't really use it that often. Obviously I've used it because it's sturdy to give it a go. But I feel like even this brush doesn't work that well with this foundation. Again, you kind of have to do that like pat and dab kind of almost like a stippling on of this foundation in order to get any coverage, because otherwise it can drag and move the foundation around and almost away. Like, so when you're using it, it kind of just moves the foundation around. It doesn't really like blend it into your skin, if that makes sense. This kind of just drags it. You really have to kind of pat and dab the foundation in. One of the best ways I've discovered to apply this foundation is using, and I demoed this in one of my videos when I used it, I used one of my round brushes, and that actually worked really well because they're a very dense brush, so it really got it in there and packed the product on. And so I prefer applying it like that, and then kind of using this brush to kind of blend it in, or you could use any other brush that's kind of like this, or even a beauty sponge. The other thing that I didn't really notice at first with this foundation, but as I used it more and more when I was trying to gather my thoughts for a review of it, was that I felt like it really caked up around my eyes. Normally I'm someone who applies concealer after foundation, because I use my foundation and then use concealer to see how much I need to use, especially for under my eyes, my dark circles. But I noticed it would cake up really bad when I added my concealer on. So when I was using this, I started actually putting concealer on first and then this, but I just didn't really like doing it that way. So yeah, I felt like it really creased and caked up under my eyes, and I did not like that. Another thing that I didn't really like about it is that I felt like it took a long time to set. Like, it stays very dewy and almost sticky, to where, like, if you put on powder to set, it would cake up if you were not careful, because you obviously set your foundations with powders so that they stay in place, don't move around, all that kind of stuff. And usually foundations will, dry enough to once you put the powder on it, it doesn't look cakey. Well, this one almost seemed like no matter how long I waited, whether I did it right away or waited a while, or I even tried where I put on setting spray first to kind of mattify it down a little bit and then put on some setting powder, and it still just kind of caked up and it didn't look good. I just had a really hard time with it. I mean, initially, overall it would look fine, but when I looked close up, that's the thing. Like, I know in one of my videos I used it and I used setting powder and it looked great, and it looks great from afar, but when you look close, it's like it looks super cakey, and it's something I didn't really realize until I really was paying attention to it, and it was like, oh, I don't like that. I don't like the way that looks at all. The other thing is that I felt like most of you guys are familiar with me, know I prefer lightweight or light coverage, medium coverage foundations, because I don't like the really heavy, cakey look or feeling of a product on my skin. If it has good coverage, great, but I want it to feel lightweight. It has to feel lightweight. And I think because this does seem like it takes so long to set, you feel that on your skin, and it felt heavy on my skin. So I didn't really like that aspect of it either. Also, I don't think I mentioned this, but this is a $38 foundation, and I feel like if you really do want to get full coverage, like it claims that you can get, that it's full coverage, I feel like if you want to get full coverage, you actually have to use quite a bit of product. So I personally don't think that it will last as long as many other foundations. Like, I don't know if you can see, here's mine, how much I have used, and I actually hadn't used it like a ton. I mean, I used it for about a month straight when I first got it, when I was really testing it out, and when I had meant to do my review originally but just kept putting it off, just to be testing it out, to try it, to really gather my thoughts and stuff like that. And so I feel like I put a really big dent in it, and for the amount of time that I use it, like about a month, I feel like it's almost gone, and I'm surprised by that. So I feel like for how much you have to use, it's probably not going to last long. So I feel like, price per longevity of this product, I don't know, it's like that's kind of another con to me for this. Now I'm going to go ahead and end this review a little bit on a positive note, because this isn't like completely all bad. Those are just things like, I personally am not a fan of cream products. I'm very, very picky about cream products, cream contour, cream blush, cream anything, and especially cream foundations. So I am like giving this kind of a extra harsh review because I am just that picky about cream products. But that doesn't mean this is like a totally all bad product. Like I said, I love that it has SPF in it. I love that it has the anti-aging benefits that It Cosmetics has. Like, I love their products for that. The other thing is that, and I mentioned this before in one of my videos when I first mentioned this, it gives you a beautiful youthful glow. Like, it's a very almost like dewy, glowy kind of foundation. So when you put it to your skin, you definitely have that glowy, youthful like looking skin, and I did and do like that about it. I think it is beautiful. This is probably a foundation I think I would reach for. Like, I'm not going to give up on it. I'm not going to never wear it again, but what I think I'm going to do is wear it more in the summer, because in the summer I don't wear as much makeup, and I also don't wear as much powder products. And so I don't think I will imagine myself using a ton of powder over it, which is what I do with normal foundations. So, and I don't think powders work that well with this product, and I think that's the problem. So I want to use it, I think I'll use it more in the summer, because in the summer when you sweat a lot and all that kind of stuff, it's better to use cream products because they don't I just feel like they're a little bit more waterproof, if that makes sense. Like, whereas you have powder and then it gets wet, it's gonna mess up. But a cream product, it won't really mess up with when it gets wet or when you sweat and stuff like that. So yeah, there is that. That is my review of the Confidence in a Compact Foundation. I do apologize for how long it has taken me to get this review up. I know it's not a product that's super new and relevant anymore, but I still thought that this might be helpful for those of you who are still looking at purchasing it, and then also because, you know, summer is coming around, so this might be a product you actually like and might be great for summer. But if you already have products you know and love, work for you all year round, you know, stick with those. And if you're super picky like me about cream products, you might just want to stay away from it altogether. And then again, like I said, while I usually always recommend it brushes, I really don't think this one is absolutely necessary. If you have a similar brush like it on hand, you could definitely use that. So this is a very expensive brush. It's not absolutely necessary because I don't absolutely love it for that product specifically. But yeah, that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you found this helpful. And until next time, much love and hugs to you. Bye, beauty babes.